Hi there everybody. What we're going to talk about now is batters, and what we're going to discuss is, first we're going to discuss Yorkshire pudding batter, and then we're going to go on to pancake batter. Exactly the same ingredients: flour, eggs and milk, slightly different quantities, and the only major difference is the cooking technique that we're going to use to cook them. So what we're going to talk about first off is Yorkshire puddings. Everybody, I mean my partner goes crazy about Yorkshire puddings, loves them, don't like cooking them, can't cook them. Okay, but I showed her a little trick when we first sort of got together, and she's picked it up, great stuff now, and she's, I hate to say it, her Yorkshire puddings from time to time come out better than mine. So Yorkshire puddings, first thing we're going to do is get the tins prepped. Okay, I'm using a deep muffin tin. What I want is for that Yorkshire pudding to come up the side of that muffin tin and come out and stand nice and tall. You can get purposely made Yorkshire pudding tins out there. I've got one at home and the holes are quite wide and flat, and I generally get a flat wide Yorkshire pudding, but what I want is some nice tall standy up ones. So get your tins ready. I'm using vegetable oil. Okay, don't use olive oil, it burns at a much lower temperature than vegetable oil, and don't use butter and things like that. No, good vegetable oil, and what you need is a good amount of oil in the pot, just covering the bottom of the Yorkshire pudding tins. So what we've got is a nice bit of oil in the bottom of them, and what we want to do, and this is very important when it comes to Yorkshire puddings, make sure you've got the oil in there, and make sure that when you come to put your Yorkshire pudding in there, your Yorkshire pudding batter, that these are absolutely red hot. And then, fingers crossed, you should all get good Yorkshire puddings. So this bit is very important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these in the oven now at approximately 230 degrees C. Okay, so come back to me and we'll take it on from there. Thank you. Okay, so our Yorkshire pudding tins are heating up nicely in the oven now. Like I said, 230 degrees C. When we put the Yorkshire pudding batter in there, we want that fat smoking, red hot. So we'll get on with the batter now. For the batter, you roughly want 4 eggs. So we'll put 4 eggs in. Four eggs in. A pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper. Okay, so 4 eggs. You want 140 grams of plain flour. And we start to whisk that in. Now I'm using a whisk and a bowl here, but at home I use one of those gym protein shakers, and what I do is open it up, put my metal ball in, I drop my eggs in, I drop my flour in, I drop my milk in, close the lid, and I give it a good shake up, and then it's all contained in my shaker. I can sit that in the fridge to leave to rest if I need to, and also when it comes to pouring it into the tins, I can just leave the lid and I can pour it straight out the shaker into the hot fat. So they're a really good thing to use, are them protein shakers. But we're using a whisk here, we're going old school. So get that flour and egg mixed up. Flour all over me, and then to bring it up to the consistency that we want, we can slowly add our milk. What you're looking at roughly is about 200 mils of milk. So that's 4 eggs, 140 grams of flour, plain flour, and roughly 200 mils of milk. And then we slowly incorporate that milk. If I'd have been using that shaker now, it would have been done. So that's a nice little tip for you to take away when you do these at home. So I've got my milk in there, I've got my eggs in there, and I've got my flour in there. And what you're looking for is a nice consistency of, say, double cream. And then once all that's mixed up, I mean, that's ready to use straight away. I mean, a lot of people say leave it rest for 20 to 30 minutes, and you can do. And I mean, this is one of them things that you can do well in advance. Well in advance. And like I say, if you've got it in that protein shaker, it's done, it's sat in the fridge, and it's resting nicely. So what we'll do, while we're waiting for our tins in the oven, we'll sit this to one side, leave it rest for a little bit, and then we'll come back and I'll show you the next stage in a minute. Okay, our pan's heated up nicely, our batter's done and been resting, and I've just decanted it into a jug to make the pouring easier. And if you look closely, once we pour it in, look at that sizzling, and then we want to take it all the way up to the top. And that's how you want your fat, nice and hot and sizzling like that. That's it, get that Yorkshire pudding batter in. Okay, once these are topped up, put them straight back in the oven, and as soon as that door's closed, we do not open or disturb these for at least 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, the second part of the batters that we were discussing at the beginning when we talked about Yorkshire pudding batter, we're going to now talk about pancake batter, and it's exactly the same ingredients. We've got our eggs, we've got our flour, and we've got our milk. We're just going to use different quantities. I know you can go into the supermarkets and buy pancake batter already made up, and it's easy, but there's nothing like doing it yourself. And what we can do is we can play around with the ingredients, and we can have like pancakes that you're normally familiar with, like crepes. If we make them a little bit thicker and substitute the milk for buttermilk, which you can buy in the supermarkets, we can go for a more American style breakfast pancake. So let's crack on and let's make some pancakes. So ingredients for this: 2 eggs, roughly 100 grams of flour, and for this one we're going to put them all in together, and we're going to add 300 mils of milk. So that's 2 eggs, 100 grams of flour, 300 mils of milk. And then it's just a case of whisking the whole lot together. And that's as easy as it is. Once again, this is another one of those batters that you can have made in advance. Have it in a jug in your fridge. And once the pancakes are done, you can top them with whatever you like. You can go down old school route and put sugar on there, lemon juice on there, golden syrup on there. You can stuff them with cheese, mushrooms. You can stack them up and cover them with bolognese sauce and cheese sauce. Once you've got the basic batter done, your imagination is left to the rest. And as with the Yorkshire pudding batter, all you're looking for is a nice consistency of double cream. Okay, so we've made our Yorkshire pudding batter. Like I said, 2 eggs, 300 mils of milk, and about 100 mils of plain flour. Whisk it all together. I've decanted it into a jug so it's easy to get into the frying pan. Now this is where it can all go horribly wrong, so make sure that you've got a very good non-stick pan. Okay, and what we don't want to do is we don't want to flood that pan with loads of oil. So what we do is take a bit of kitchen roll. All you do, dip it into some just normal vegetable oil, give the bottom of that pan a rub with the vegetable oil onto the heat, and then taking your pancake batter into the middle of the pan, pour your required amount in, and this is where once again personal preference comes into it. If you want a nice really thin pancake, just use a little bit. If you want a bit of a thicker one, then just add a little bit more, and then you just move it around that pan so it's fully coated, and then back on the heat. You have full control over the pan, so should you need to take the pan off the heat, take it off the heat. And then all you do, as you can see, the top of that pancake is starting to cook, so all I'm going to do is just carefully go around the edge, make sure it's coming away, and then I can get my palette knife underneath that pancake and then flip straight over and then back onto the heat. Like I say, you control the pan now, so you can just, as you can see, that's moving away nicely. Okay, you can show off if you want to. I'll have a go. To the edge of the pan, quick flick of the wrists, and over your pancake goes. And that's as easy as it is. But the pan is the key. Make sure you've got a good pan. As you can see, nothing has stuck to that pan. Once you've got the desired colour on there, you can just tip that out straight like that onto a plate, or if you want to be nice and flush, you can fold it over again into a nice triangle, and then out onto the plate. And then when it comes to your next one, once again, in with your kitchen towel, just give the base of the frying pan a little bit of rub with oil. It's not swimming with oil at all. In with your pancake batter around the pan, all the way around, and then back into the heat. Like I say, we're controlling that pan. The pan and the heat aren't controlling us. And then you just keep that on the heat, and you can see it's starting to cook and solidify on the top. So once again, back round with my palette knife underneath, flip over. You can take that off now. The residual heat will finish off the cooking of that. Then once again, over, and then another pancake. And like I said, the toppings are endless. Nutella, peanut butter, banana, cheese, onions, mushrooms, you name it, it's all to do with how you want to eat that. Thank you. Okay, Yorkshire puddings, look at those. Pretty good, eh? 25 to 30 minutes, completely undisturbed in the oven. We didn't go anywhere near them, didn't open the door, didn't bang the door. And like I say guys, the key to this is a good tin, and get that oil in that tin really hot before you put the mixture in. And like I say, with the muffin tin, what that's given us is a nice big raised up Yorkshire pudding. Okay, and what a way to impress, eh? When people see them, yeah, imagine that with a nice roast beef dinner, or even that, just Yorkshire pudding with a nice bit of onion gravy over the top. And what you can do with that batter mix is get yourself a nice small tray, put some sausages in there, yeah, put the sausages in raw, bit of oil in there, once again get it really hot, get them sausages cooked, and then pour the batter straight over the top of the sausages, and you've got toad in the hole. So there you go guys, nice Yorkshire pudding batter, yeah, and you can't go wrong, but make sure those tins are red hot.